What's up, gentlemen? Welcome to the Dynasty Dudes podcast. Want to shout out to any female listeners that are out there. I don't think there are any. Sometimes my wife overhears when I'm like doing the final edits on it.
Yeah,
Hey,
she's
honey.
definitely never watched it on purpose.
My daughter sometimes overhears it. Maybe Ding's daughter hears it too. I bet Ding's daughter's heard this episode. Here's our show.
No, I bet he listens with headphones at work when he's editing stuff.
No. I bet Millie's seen it once or twice. Anyway, we just kind of a little bit of a dead zone here in the NFL offseason. So I think what we're going to do is, because it's a dead zone where there's a lot to kind of forget, let's just discuss some of the dudes who we've forgotten in the shuffle. Some of the dudes who, didn't have big splashy off seasons, didn't get new contracts, they're just kind of silent. And I think, Rob, you have a little bit of a list, and I'd love to hear it.
I mean, some of you will have thought about these players because they're on your teams, and some of them have new situations, but I just feel like we don't talk about them a lot, and these are guys worth bringing up and discussing what we think and what we think we should do with them. And I don't know, seems like a good route to not end up talking about Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts. Trevor Lawrence.
I'm always down to talk about Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts.
Christian Watson. I'm just getting the names out now.
We don't talk about Christian Watson that often. I don't think we talk about Christian Watson that often.
Well, I feel like I always think we're going to talk about him.
I just am always nervous to talk about him because I don't want to mess up his hamstrings. I just want to leave him, just be quiet about him and be like, oh, if his hamstrings are good,
yeah. Don't look at him too long. He might pull.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a piece of art, no flash photography.
Yeah. But I wanted to start with Cooper Kupp. What you think you should do with him, what you think his year looks like. Yeah. I mean, Puka was the new hotness there in LA. Well, Puka and Kyron Williams, but Kupp is still Kupp. He had some injury issues last year, but when he was healthy, he balled out, and I feel like he's a piece that's kind of fallen to the wayside. What do you think?
How old is Cooper Kupp? Is he about to turn 32?
Let's look.
Also, shout out to Cooper Kupp.
I would assume he's not 30.
He definitely is 30. He might be 31. He's 30. Okay. I don't know when he turns. Yeah. Cooper Kupp. He turns 31 in June. So he's going to his age 31 year. He came out late. He was obviously a 4-year guy at Eastern Washington. I can't not talk about Cooper Kupp without talking about 2016 when I watched some white dude just tear up the freaking Washington State Cougars. Like, who is this white guy just running around the field? And why are we losing to Eastern Washington?
Yep. Yeah, he balled out.
Dude, that was sick, dude. That was so sick. Yeah, he was also 23 years old. But he turned into a guy, man. He turned into a guy.
Yeah.
It's funny. Not to derail the whole forgotten guy situation, but I think the two teams that I've just been thinking about a lot these last few days are the Rams and the Jets, of just what's going to happen long term with their quarterback situations. Neither of them at this point have any sort of contingency plan, and past 2024, I'm a little bit concerned with what it's going to look like for guys like Puka, for Kupp, for Garrett Wilson, for any of these guys. So I'm a little bit concerned. But for Kupp, I could see Kupp retiring.
I think that I'm trying to look it up here. I was pretty sure the Rams picked somebody up as their backup in free agency, and it was they
picked up Jimmy G. Jimmy G.
That's who they picked up.
That's not interesting.
No, not really.
Last year maybe you're thinking about last year they picked up Carson Wentz, and that kind of is interesting,
and they drafted Stinson Bennett, but none of those guys are an answer.
No.
But that's part of the question, right? Kupp has Stafford at least one more year. We don't know what either of them are planning to do. They are not spotlight guys. They're not guys who have podcasts and talk about whether or not they're going to retire. They just play football and have contracts.
Stafford's wife does.
Oh, does she
Yeah,
have
she
a
does. She
podcast?
likes to. Yeah, she likes to go on podcast. I don't know if she
Huh.
has her own podcast or like she goes on podcasts. I think she has her own podcast.
Huh.
Yeah,
That feels like she was bored and didn't have a job. Yep.
she kind of has always been. She's a little bit of a spotlight gal. There's a few times, like a
Gotcha.
few like players' wives who are kind of like that.
Yeah, they
It's
just
funny.
like to be famous.
Yeah, that's kind of their shtick. Like, isn't Steph
Cool.
Curry's wife on the View or something like that? I guess
I could
that's how
tell
that
you in my
be.
life, I've probably never seen any of The View.
Dude, that's good because
Like,
it's not
yeah,
marketed towards you, you lumberjack.
no, yeah. Look, man, the beard's going. It's hard to let the winter beard go. It's,
Yeah,
it's cold over here. But back to
dude, I
football.
get.
Let's go back to
Yeah,
football.
dude. So anyway, to answer your question of what I think about Cooper Cup, and I think I put like Tyreek Hill in this category too. I think I look at 2025 as like sort of the last year. Like that's kind of my thought. I think anyone with Cooper Cup, I think you're really excited about 2024 because Stafford was healthy last year. It seems like they're kind of replenishing that offense. Obviously, the addition of Puka was awesome, um, but I think he is strictly a win now asset. I wouldn't be surprised if he retired after this year, or if not the year after. I don't know if he survives a quarterback transition.
Yeah, I don't either, but I also don't know what their plan is at QB. Stafford's old, but he's not that old. If he
Yeah,
stays healthy, like I could see another major injury, he retires. But if he stays healthy
right.
for 3, 4 years, I could see him playing for 3, 4 more years. Like he loves football. He likes to play it and he's good at it. I don't know. It's interesting. I think so with that, if you have Cooper Cup, what are you doing? When now you're rebuilding all of the thoughts. How do you feel about him?
I think I'm pretty stoked to have him if I'm in a win now situation. I cannot imagine anyone who is rebuilding. I mean, maybe if you just started to rebuild this offseason, you still have him on your roster. I think his value is probably pretty good to still trade him because he was relatively healthy. Relatively, he had some injuries this last year, but they were fairly minor. They weren't like soft tissue stuff. I think they were. What he hurt his toe. I don't know. It was something. It was something. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Frankly,
What,
maybe
tough?
more important. Yeah, yeah. I think he
I
gets.
thought it was
He's.
hamstring. I thought it was a hammy
Did he have hammies?
because
Then that is
it
tough.
was he had to go to a specialist in like the other side of the country.
That was to start the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think that's
Yeah.
what bothered him all year was his leg.
Well, if that's the case, that's
Um,
tough. But I think whatever the
yeah,
case, like if you're holding on to Cooper Cup right now and you're somehow in a rebuild, you like it's time to sell. Like that's pretty
yeah,
obvious.
and I get the temptation to sell him. You might be able to get like a 111, 112 for him. I don't picture people want to give up more. This draft is super exciting. There's a lot of hype. Moving picks is super hard right now. But
Bless you,
I
me.
think if yeah, fair enough. I think if you can go find a middling teams first next year, like a fringe playoff team, a team that doesn't look that hot, and get their 2025 first for Cup, that's a good investment. I like that.
Yeah, I think you're gonna
Like,
struggle. I think you get a little bit more for Cup. I don't know what exactly you get. I mean, I put him in the same category as Tyreek Hill, right? Um, I don't know
Tyreek
what you
Hill's
could
just
get
more
for him.
proven.
I,
That's
I would assume,
like if you're gonna pay up high, I would rather go after Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Mike Evans, kind of the same category age wise, but not more proven, more consistent. Cup's had 2 amazing years, and when he plays, he's great. But his ability to stay on the field can be a little tough.
yeah, it'd be interesting. I'd like to see some trades. I have to look at like what some recent trades are that people sent or acquired Cooper Cup because I think he's an interesting player. How about is there any other to move on? Got any other
Yeah,
players under the
um,
radar who?
I got a list. I mean, we kind of talked about Stafford. He was on there.
Mhm.
Um, we could talk about the Joneses.
The Joneses. Why don't you start with
Daniel and
Daniel
Aaron
Jones?
Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you start with Daniel Jones? Why should we all love Daniel Jones there?
Oh, I don't know if we should
Drew
all
Lock's
love him.
backup.
There might be some. If Daniel Jones gets benched for Drew Lock, like in the preseason, that would be ridiculous. I think Drew Lock is a backup guy, but Daniel Jones. I mean, I don't know. Is he gonna play? Is he not gonna play? Are they gonna draft a guy? I mean, what would you trade for him right now? And what's your like? Oh, you must sell him for this if you see it. Like,
Well, it's a good question because I did trade him.
yeah, you did for
Yeah,
garbage.
to you.
Yeah,
Do you remember?
for
Do you remember what you
garbage.
sent me?
Cortland Sutton and what's
Yeah,
his name?
basically it was Cortland Sutton. Dobbins was in the
Yeah,
deal too, but yeah,
yeah.
that didn't matter.
Which I had traded a fourth to you for Dobbins with the intention
Yeah,
of sending you back Dobbins. So
yeah,
Sutton and a fourth for Daniel Jones.
exactly. Yeah, so Sutton basically for Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Who's
Yeah,
also on the list. Sutton's a guy that we haven't talked
yeah.
about a lot. But
Well, I'll say this about Daniel Jones. I think it all comes down to what the Giants do at 6.
hmm
I think it's really up in the air. A lot of people are projecting. I mean, based on what the Vikings just did, it looks like they're going to trade up into the top 4, maybe the top 3. I mean, this is a whole discussion in and of itself. But the question is, one, are the Giants going to trade up into the top 5? You know, they're going to jump a few picks. And two, if a quarterback does make it to 6, are they going to take him? Because what is going to happen is if they stay at 6, there's definitely going to be one of those top wide receivers that's going to be there.
do you think that Marvin Harrison makes it to 6? Where's he fit in
No,
this? Cardinals have
I can,
4, right? Cardinals take him at 4.
well, I mean, a lot of people are saying potentially that the Vikings trade with the Cardinals.
Mm.
So the Cardinals trade down to 11. The the Vikings take JJ McCarthy there, so that'll be the 4th quarterback off the board. Then you have the Chargers there, who probably then take Marvin Harrison, and then
Yeah, that makes
you got
sense.
your pick of the litter there. But regardless, so like one of the top 3, maybe all 3 wide receivers make the 6 in some crazy, turn of events. But like let's say 2 out of 3 are at 6, which I think most people believe that's probably what's going to happen to some degree, because I think most people think that the Vikings are going to trade up with one of the teams who would take a wide receiver, that being the Chargers or the Cardinals. Um, and so if the Giants are there and take a wide receiver, I think it definitely makes it more possible that Daniel Jones has a productive year. Um, I think it's tough with Daniel Jones because he's just a lame duck. He's everyone and their mom knows that he is not getting another year on this contract. Like he's got an out at the end of this contract, and it's like it's not going to get picked up. He is not going to make another $40 million in 2025. Like there's just like a 2% chance that happens.
Well, he'd have to
Um,
go make a deep playoff run, and it would have to
yeah,
be on the back of him and not a defense, right? Like he has to go. He's very Justin Fields reminiscent in the sense of like, except he got paid and Fields didn't. But if you go win games,
yeah,
you'll get paid. But Justin Fields didn't
right,
win squat, so he didn't get paid.
right. And
Yeah,
Daniel Jones made it to the divisional round, and it was right at the time. It was time for his to get a contract. He was out of contract,
yep. And
and
then
he
last
made
year he
80.
played
Yeah,
4 games. He played four
yeah,
games. That's part of my deal with Daniel Jones. I think he only had. Yeah, I wanted to double check. It doesn't matter. He played 4 games last year, or 6 games, or whatever,
whatever it
and
was.
was
Yeah, not
just.
very many.
And he has no. This is part of why I don't necessarily believe that Daniel Jones is cooked because he. Oh, it's only showing me free agents. There we go. Come on. Sometimes Sleeper on my laptop is
No, it really has a
super
bad
confusing.
desktop. Really
Yeah,
sucks.
it really does. Um, But anyway, he didn't play much. His team wasn't good. His O-line was bad. His wide receivers were wide receiver threes on any other team in the league, maybe fours. Like, I believe that Daniel Jones is quietly sitting there, prepping, working, doing his business to come out this year and just play lights out. The question is, does he get the chance or does New York draft a guy? If they draft a quarterback, he's cooked. He needs a wide receiver. If they draft a wide receiver, I believe he has a chance to go prove that he is maybe not a top 5 QB in the NFL, but a very mid-range guy.
Yeah.
A Tannehill or a Cousins. It feels disrespectful to Cousins, but that category, if that makes sense.
Totally. I think that, one of my big problems I've always had with Daniel Jones, it was back to, I think it was his rookie year. It was either his rookie year or second year. You remember that big, 80-yard run he had, and then he just, trips, he just kind of has this. Oh, you don't remember that? It's a hilarious deal because he's fast, right? Yeah, it's pretty great. He's just sprinting down the field and he beat everybody and he trips at the 20-yard line. Just turf monster. It's just I don't know if he has what it takes to be an NFL quarterback. I don't mentality wise. So
he has the opposite of what Mahomes has, right? Mahomes is guaranteed a winner. He is a born winner. And Daniel Jones might not be. But we'll see. Yeah. I think if he gets a chance in New York and they draft a wide receiver, he's a guy worth keeping around. If they don't, if they draft a QB, he's cooked. He's done. You might get 6 games out of him this year. Congratulations. It's going to suck.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. Well, we'll kind of keep. I think he's an exciting one to keep an eye on because I will say this too. I really don't expect that the front office wants to pay him $40 million. I don't. My assumption is they're going to look for any excuse not to pay him that money, and I could imagine if he starts having a little bit of success, they almost don't even want that to even be a possibility because then it's oh shoot, now we have to maybe pay him. It's just I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. We can move on to Aaron Jones, who I think is going to be really good this year, especially with a quarterback upgrade and Sam Darnold. That's it's good. I'm kidding.
Gotcha. I was are you really saying that Sam Darnold's a better QB than Jordan Love? Hold on.
Well, I guess I was kind of saying that. I meant to say that Sam Darnold was an upgrade over Kirk Cousins, but yeah, I guess Aaron Jones would have been with.
I don't believe that either.
No one does.
Yeah.
No one does.
I hope that they don't trot Sam Darnold out week 1. I don't want to watch him play football. I don't.
Dude, I think they're going to. I think they're absolutely going to.
They shouldn't. He's boring. He's not very good. I don't know. I'm not a believer. I think
it's fun. I'm excited. I'm excited for when they do it. In terms of Aaron Jones, he was the best player on the field for Green Bay last year. When he was on the field, it'll be interesting. I don't know how Minnesota plans to use him, but clearly their options that they currently have were not good.
Yeah.
They didn't like Ty Chandler. Clearly, Dwayne McBride was not the next 7th round, diamond in the rough. It's just, I don't even know who else they had on that roster. It wasn't good. It was a bad. Oh, Alexander Madison. Yeah, that what a disaster.
Gross. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I think
they tried to run it with Madison as their RB1, and it just clearly didn't work. It was so bad that they picked up. What's his name?
Right.
The Achilles guy, and then he tore his.
Yeah, Cam. He tore the other one.
Cam Akers.
Yeah, he tore the other one.
I think he had a 12-point fantasy game, and people got excited. And the next week he tore his Achilles and
his other Achilles, which is crazy.
Dude, just move to Thailand or something. Get out of here. We don't want to look at you.
Yeah, it's over, dude. Yeah, the Cam Akers saga was fun. We're still waiting on one running back, man, to break the Achilles curse, and I don't think it'll ever happen.
Adrian Peterson did back in the day. I thought he had torn his Achilles and came back.
He tore an ACL at some point.
I thought there was one running back who had torn an Achilles, came back, and was relevant. I thought it was Adrian Peterson.
No, there was one that the best
Marlon
one.
Mack.
Marlon Mack, that's who it was. Who was okay. He was
No,
the
no, I was
success story.
joking. He
No, I
was
know, but
terrible.
he's the best one, if I'm not mistaken. Like he
No, I
was.
think there's like a legit one.
I don't think so, dude. I don't think there's ever been one. Cam Akers, we all thought it was going to be Cam Akers, and it's just not.
Yeah. No, it really wasn't. Here's a list of people with Achilles tears. I mean, Donta Foreman tore
That's
his.
right, Deontay
Oh
Foreman.
no. Yeah. Arian
But again,
Foster cut midseason out of the league. Wow. These guys, I mean, really, I'm not seeing anybody that
yeah, it's a
look
disaster,
relevant.
dude. That's why J.K. Dobbins. There was a slight bump in his bat. Like he's still not signed. There's a lot of teams that need a running back, and he's still not signed.
I thought he was on a team.
No, he was a Raven. This was the last year of his deal.
Yeah, well,
R.I.P.
he's old
Yeah, man.
too.
Yeah. Speaking of old, Aaron Jones is old. He's 29
Oh,
again.
Dobbins is
When that,
24. I'm an idiot. Or
oh yeah,
25.
Dobbins is
Young.
Dobbins is
Young, young.
Dobbins is fine, but he's I don't know. This shit, if he's the one, I'm rooting for J.K. Dobbins. I hope he's the one. He's not going to be, but it would be awesome.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no one's going to be. It's never going to happen.
yeah.
So, R.I.P. to the Achilles.
You said Aaron Rodgers as kind of a forgotten asset.
Sort of. He's sort of
I
forgotten.
mean,
He
I'm hoping he forgets RFK Jr. wants him to run.
Yeah, he's gonna be there, dude. I'm excited about the Jets, man. Like I've been thinking about it. Obviously as the Mike Williams owner, I'm stoked. Like that was a pretty big win, but I love what they're doing. Like I can't remember a team ever like just saying "F it, we're going all in." Like, well, because last
Uh,
year the whole
the
the whole
Rams
question,
in 2016.
2016,
20, no, what? Sorry, man. I'm trying to track 2019. What year did they win the Super Bowl?
they won in 2021. They kind of did. Yeah,
Feels
they
like it
sort of
was
did.
further back. I mean, they had no
Yes.
picks. They spent most of their stuff on defensive players, and then they traded a bag to get Stafford. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that kind of fits for sure. They definitely did go all in, and then they go sign Odell
yeah,
mid-season. Like that was kind of because Cleveland cut him, or
that's
they trade
right.
for Odell. I
One of
can't.
the
But did it,
two.
I think Cleveland cut him,
Yeah,
and then they
I
they
think they
signed
cut
him.
him too.
Yeah. So anyway,
Tampa
like
did it with Brady, kinda. They already had the wide
yeah,
receivers, but
yeah. No, I think it's interesting, and I mean both those teams were success stories. They both won Super Bowls.
yeah,
But like the the Jets here, they just signed the left tackle from Dallas, who is just he's just a walking injury, like, but
yeah,
if when he's on the field, he's good. I still think they're going to sign David Bakhtiari, which again to reunite with Aaron Rodgers, and Bakhtiari has played like 3 games in the last 3 years, but man, when he's on the field, he's the best offensive
he's
tackle,
great.
and yeah, so and then again, Mike Williams, same thing, really good outside receiver, oft injured. And so I don't know, like they've covered the holes that they needed to cover from last year. Because going into last year, everyone was like, dude, their offensive, like they can't block anybody. And they have
Yeah,
one good receiver. And they addressed both those problems with
they did.
kind of very injury prone assets, but like if they're healthy, they're gonna be good. So
Yeah, I mean, the question is, can they stay healthy? And does Rodgers look like Rodgers when he comes back? I think he will, but there's a
yeah,
chance
I
that
do
he
too.
looks like a broken old man. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
the good
mean,
news with Rogers too is he tore his left Achilles. So Rogers famous for those back foot throws.
mm,
It's not his back foot, which by the way, that's the one Kirk Cousins tore. So keep an eye on
yeah,
that. Obviously, he's not as much on his back foot as Rogers is, but just something to monitor. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the Jets. I want it to work. Like I think it kind of will work, assuming like only one of those guys that's not Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. Like
yeah,
if like one of the tackles, maybe if Mike Williams goes down, they can piece something together. But Yeah. And by the way, I think the Jets are also really interesting now at pick 10 because now they don't really need to. Before it was like, oh, they need to take a tackle or they need to take a receiver. Now it's like, well, you don't really need to take either of those positions. I think there's a
Yeah.
chance. I think there's a chance they take Brock Bowers and just
Interesting.
insert another weapon into there. Like they can. They're in a
Yeah,
position
they
where they can do
can.
that at this.
I
Yeah,
was wondering if they would take a quarterback and have him spend a year under Rodgers. Um,
yeah. I thought about that
like,
too.
yeah.
The problem
Just because
is
they're, huh?
the only issue I'd say with that is I don't know if one of those like need to sit under guys is going to be there at 10. Like if JJ
Yeah.
McCarthy or Drake May falls to 10, then yeah, I think there's an argument to take one of those guys. But I don't know if there's another guy. Also, how big of a slap in the face would it be? Like the other issue with that is everyone in in New York for the Jets is on the hot seat. Like you better win
Oh,
or
yeah.
you're fired. Like that that is what's going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yep.
Um, and so to take a player with the 10th overall pick that's geared for the future, I just can't see it, you know?
Yeah, but also like I think they would rather have some rookie in there at backup over Zach Wilson. It's clear that there's dysfunction there. Zach Wilson has lost the locker room. Nobody wants to
Yeah,
play if he's
they're
on the
going to cut.
field.
They're going to cut Zach. Well,
Yeah.
they signed. I don't know if you saw this, but they signed Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
makes
he's the
sense.
backup. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not to say like they won't take a quarterback if like something falls into
Yeah.
their lap, but
But
like
he's cooked.
but Zach Wilson's done. Yeah, it's Tyrod Taylor's the new backup in New York.
Yeah, it's over. Thank goodness. I hope that in my life I never watch another primetime game with Zach Wilson under center. Like,
Yeah.
please get him out of here.
Hey, so speaking of people who are around the 10th pick, you mentioned Cortland Sutton. Uh,
Yeah.
I it's pretty funny. Like most people have just like most people that I listen to have basically written in Sharpie that Bo Nix is going to be a Denver Bronco. Like that's who's going to be throwing the
Yeah.
ball in Sean Payton's offense. Which okay,
Yeah.
um, we'll see. He's played a lot of college football.
Yeah, he's played a lot of college ball.
Yeah,
Mm, so here's my deal. Um, he is not a Caleb Williams. He's not a guy who's supposed to come in and be NFL ready, NFL up to speed, productive. I loved Cortland Sutton last year. I was a big fan. This year, I don't want to own him anywhere. I'm going to try and sell him everywhere I can because he's going to have a rookie quarterback, which lowers his ceiling. And then he's going to have a rookie quarterback who probably isn't as ready as you would want. I think that if you own Cortland Sutton and expect him to finish higher than, I want to say 40, but I'll say 35, that you need to temper your expectations.
yeah. No, I think that's probably fair. I think it's just interesting because it is Sean Payton. Like that's
Yeah,
who this is who we're talking about.
yeah,
Um, we've seen him just work in this league. Um,
yep,
I don't know what it's going to look like. Because again, like just assuming that it's Bo Nix, maybe it's Jared Stitt, maybe they surprise us and do something. I don't know, but I think there's a decent shot that it's going to be Bo Nix who's going to be the starter there in Denver. Um, yeah, and the good news for a guy like Cortland Sutton is he is the only guy there. You know, like
yeah. No,
it's
that's
it.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, we saw what happened with Adam Thielen last year. You know, it's just sometimes when you're talking about the only guy, he just eats. You know, like
yeah.
in a terrible offense.
And that's totally possible. Sutton's got the ability to make plays. He wins 50-50 balls. He can climb the
Mm-hmm.
ladder. And yeah, it just, I don't know, man. I don't really want anything to do with it. Like, again, player I really like. I think he's good at football. I would put him in the Mike Williams, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore before he got traded category of guys where like if they were playing with Mahomes, they'd be a top 5 wide receiver. But they aren't,
Yeah.
and their situation sucks, so they're limited.
Yeah. So I want to switch gears here just to close. And I want
Tush
to
push wasn't
ask
banned.
it wasn't
They didn't
banned,
ban the tush
but
push.
that still doesn't take away from the fact that the center retired. So we'll see kind of how it goes, because that was probably the second most important person in that play.
I hope that their first play of the season, the Eagles come out and just run a tush push to show everybody,
Just for
like,
fun.
hey,
Yeah.
we can still do it. Yep.
Yeah, maybe they draft Jackson Powers Johnson, the center. So just to shift and it kind of turned it a little more serious, actually. How many pancakes do you think I can eat?
I was like,
And
turn it more serious. Yeah.
And then will you or any of the other guys hang out with me for at least a little bit? Maybe like have breakfast and then you guys can dip, or.
Oh man, I've thought about this so much. I really have. You should go straight there when you get to town.
Well,
You should go.
I'm thinking of like, okay, here's I'll tell you my number that I'm.
No, but when you get to Spokane, you should go straight to IHOP. Don't go to the Airbnb. Don't go see any of the guys.
Well,
Go
it
start
depends
your
on
24-hour clock.
It depends on what time I get there. You know, like I don't know if I'm getting there like in the evening, because the
I say
evening
it
I'll do
doesn't
it.
matter.
Oh, dude, but I don't want to be hanging out at like 2 a.m.
But
at
think about it.
IHOP.
If you're cranking pancakes at 2 a.m., let's say you finish at 7, whatever, right? Then you can just pound energy drinks, maybe take a nap, hang out the whole next day. You don't want to lose a whole day of your trip to IHOP. I think you got to
Well,
just
okay.
put your man pants on and go straight there.
So what? How many do you think? How many hours do you think I can spend? Like how many?
I think you're going to sit down and crank out your first 6 pancakes and think, I've got this.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And then
I've thought that
somewhere in the next 6, you're going to be like, son of a gun. Like, I have to spend 10 hours in this IHOP.
I think I can get to 18.
Oh,
pancakes.
dude. I think
Which
I could
means
do
6 hours.
24, but I
Well,
guarantee
you don't need to do
her.
24.
No, but you got to do 23. I'm not spending 6 hours in a dang IHOP. I don't want to spend
Dude, I think
1
you have
hour
to.
in an IHOP.
There's
Not
no
if you
way you
eat-
can do. You can't do 23 in an hour. There's no chance.
I think I could, because the key to eating like that is you just eat it all. You're like, look, bring me 23 pancakes right now. And you eat it as fast as you
Dude,
physically
no
can
chance.
before your
That's
stomach responds to being
There's
full.
no chance you could do that. Okay. I don't. Maybe you can. I don't know. I can't do. There's
Yeah.
no shot I can do.
I think I could. And you can prep, like only eat watermelon the day before. Like it expands your stomach, but it's empty.
Uh,
telling you, man. But I will come hassle you in the IHOP. I haven't decided if I'm going to show up and hang out as your friend or show up and try to make it worse. Like, I'm just being honest.
So, like, I've really considered. I have a few strategies in the back of my head of like how
Yeah.
I think I could do this. I have to cut out as many calories as possible. Like no butter, no syrup.
Yep.
Um,
Dip them in water. They'll slide down your gullet easier.
I was thinking even like douse them in coffee. Of just like, hey, I bet that tastes pretty good.
Yeah. I bet you that they're going to be soggy room temperature pancakes.
Yeah, well, they will be. Yeah.
I don't know, man. See, I'm sitting here thinking, like, do I show up and just drink chocolate milk next to you while you pound these pancakes? Like, legitimately, it punishes me, but no, I mean, I think most of the guys will stop by, if anything, to see you stuck in an IHOP. Like,
sucks, dude. It's not
yeah,
that
it
stuff.
does suck. No, you should be not happy.
Yeah, we'll see. It's really, it's gonna be not that fun.
No,
But
you got to treat it like a get it done kind of thing.
I've definitely imagined starting in the morning, but like I can see the thought of starting it in the evening.
Because think about if you start in the morning, right? We get there Friday night or whatever. You go to bed, you wake up. Maybe you wake up early Saturday morning because you went to bed early Friday night, which I don't think would happen. But you get there at 6, you start your pancakes, and you get through 12, and you're like, oh, it's my first day of this trip, and I don't know if I can eat any more pancakes, and I have 12 hours left in this IHOP. So you're not going to get out till, you know, 6 p.m., 8 p.m., whatever. Started the night
Dude,
before.
I think I
I
could
would
get
trade the
out.
night
Like
of
I
sleep.
said, I think if I started at 6, I think I'd get out by 6 or by 6 by 12. Like I think I'd be out by noon. I definitely can get 18.
And if that's where you're at, then don't just go straight to the IHOP. But I think the risk of you're going to have to spend 10 hours here.
Fair.
And I mean, rules and regulations. If you eat till you throw up, does that mean you have to start your pancake count over? Is there someone who can like look and say you threw up 3 pancakes worth of vomit? You've got
Yeah,
to eat
that's
3 more.
absolutely not. Of course, that's ridiculous. I've also I've been considering like workouts I can do in there to try and like burn calories, so I'm like re-hunger myself of like because one of the big problems is you're just sitting there and it's like you're not replenishing.
You're not doing
You're not like
anything.
you're not getting hungrier. You know, like
No.
you're just sitting
Also,
there.
like, all you're eating is bread. All that bread, right? What's the chance that your guts just rocked? You're gonna
Yeah,
have 10 to 20 pancakes in your stomach. That doesn't sound good. I don't
yeah.
see
That's
any
why I'm saying
world
the
where that's nice.
I think the coffee, the just like the that
Help
helps
move
the
it.
laxative.
Yeah.
Yeah, get it through. But anyway, dude, I'll keep thinking of strategies. Like I've even thought
Yeah.
about like bringing like gloves. So I like go to the bathroom if they had like individual bathrooms, do some like mountain climbers or something to try and just like burn some calories.
You really are trying to come up with. I mean,
Just
that's
like
smart
biohacks. Yeah, I
because
mean like you have to
you
do.
can't. Hold on, does the parking lot count as in the IHOP, or I don't think it
No, that you
does. You
can't
got to
leave.
stay
No way. Yeah,
inside.
you
Yeah.
got no. So I can't go out there and do sprints or anything. No. So like I'm like thinking like where how do I do some cardio that's not going to make me
Yeah.
vomit that like can get me hungrier.
The worst part is you're not even going to get to enjoy your like 10,000
No,
calories. Like there's
no.
no whipped cream and berries and
It's also
nope.
it's probably closer like it's not that bad. Like I think 18 pancakes like 4,000 calories. Like it's not
Oh, that's not bad.
insane. Yeah,
I mean,
like
it's not
it's
great,
a
but
lot. Yeah, but
yeah.
it's not like so like it's not like 6 times the daily calorie count. You know.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like you're
Yeah,
drinking butter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like a block of olive oil. Um, anyway, guys, we'll keep you all posted on how that all goes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the Dynasty Dudes podcast. See you guys. Oh shoot,
Adios.
did we forget to invite Casey? Oh,
Oh man, Casey, why weren't you here?
our bad. Peace.